which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Dzień dobry. This is Joanne Janicki, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the April 23rd, 2026 issue of the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. I'm going to jump right in. Before I do, I've been forgetting to remind you, maybe a paper and pencil or a recorder of some sort, so that when I do the phone numbers and emails, etc., dates even, you can collect that information as you see fit. Okay. Let's start with front page, colorful photograph. There are 5 women here, but you can only see 4 of them. And they're holding signs from Gardens, Buffalo, Niagara. And the caption reads, Green Giants. The Greater East Buffalo family of parishes is happy to be one of the recipients of the Lunenfeld Beautification Grant from Gardens, Buffalo, Niagara. The grants, offering up to $1,500 in funding to block clubs and community organizations, are provided in the name of Marvin Lunenfeld, founder of Garden Walk Buffalo. Arlene Ventura of St. Adalbert Basilica and Christine Palchevsky of St. Stanislaus Church are seen receiving their checks to assist in beautifying their parish gardens in preparation for the East Side Garden Walk. By the way, the East Side Garden Walk, I don't have the dates in front of me, but it's grown leaps and bounds, and there are just some lovely, lovely gardens on that garden walk. Actually, any of the garden walks in Western New York, the community ones through the gardening season, starting with pretty sure it starts with the last Sunday in June. And then, of course, the mother of garden walks, which is on the last weekend in June, and has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of magnificent gardens. Okay, I'm done. Another lovely photograph. It's a photo of soprano Dominika Zamata, and she's standing in front of a beautiful grand piano. Buffalo to host Polish Singers Alliance International Convention. The Polish Singers Alliance of America will be holding its 53rd International Convention, which concludes on Sunday, May 17th, with a Mass and concert to be held at St. Stanislaus Bishop and Martyr Church, 389 Peckham Street in Buffalo, New York. The noon Mass will include music led by the Chopin Singing Society, with the Polish operatic soprano Dominika Zamata as soloist. A concert will follow at 1:30 p.m. and will feature Zamata. Zamata gained musical recognition early in her native Poland. In 2007, she graduated with honors from the prestigious Wrocław University of Music and went to Italy in pursuit of higher artistic study. Having won a scholarship from the Verona State Conservatory, she performed in master classes with some of Italy's most highly regarded operatic teachers, including Alito Ferranini, Bruno Pola, and Enrico De Mori. Her operatic debut took place in 2010 as Mimi in Puccini's La Bohème under the direction of Maestro De Mori. Her outstanding vocal qualities, dynamic stage presence, and versatility in multiple genres quickly led to international performances across the globe, Europe, USA, Mexico, Argentina, China, South Korea, and Australia. She will be touring in the United States in May, allowing the Polish Singers Alliance. This is continuing, and now I have to find where it. The Polish Singers Alliance to engage this award-winning soprano for the convention's concert. Ms. Zamata will perform works by Mozart, Verdi, Chopin, Moniuszko, and the ever-popular habanera from Bizet's Carmen. The concert, celebrating the 250th anniversary of America and the Alliance's 137th year, will also include performances by the top-scoring choirs in the competition, which will be held on Saturday with Zamata as one of the three judges. The conclusion of the concert will feature the powerful 100-plus voices of the combined chorus of the Polish Singers Alliance in music of Kosciuszko, Walenty Bąk, celebrating Pulaski, Peter Górecki's spectacular Processional, and Walkiewicz-Witkowski's Góra Pieśń, the anthem of the Polish Singers Alliance. A free will offering will be taken to benefit the Polish Singers Alliance and Polish Arts Club of Buffalo scholarship funds. Sponsors are welcome. Sponsors can mail checks to the Polish Arts Club or the Polish Singers Alliance, care of 20 Brookfield Lane, number 4, Cheektowaga, New York, 14227. Sponsors will be acknowledged in the concert program if received by May 10th. All are welcome at the Mass and concert. The concert is sponsored by the Permanent Chair of Polish Culture at Canisius University, the Polish Singers Alliance, the Simasi Law Office, and the Polish Arts Club of Buffalo. 10 choirs from the United States and Canada will be competing in categories of mixed choirs, female choirs, as well as one male choir. The top scoring choir overall is the recipient of the Hlond Trophy, a gift from the interwar Polish government, which has been a coveted prize since it was first awarded in 1934 at the 24th Convention in New York, which will be on display at St. Stanislaus prior to the concert. Buffalo Chopin Singing Society achieved the top score at the 42nd Convention on the 100th anniversary of the Polish Singers Alliance in 1989. Choir delegates will take part in meetings for the good of the organization at the Hyatt Place Hotel in Niagara Falls, where the competition will also be held. Because of space constraints, the competition will not be open to the public. On Saturday evening, a gala will be held at the hotel for the convention participants. The theme of the convention will be the 250th anniversary of the United States and will celebrate the Polish war heroes, Thadeusz Kościuszko and Casimir Pulaski. The Polish Singers Alliance is the oldest Polish-American cultural organization in North America and is currently based in Buffalo, New York. I'm going to jump to Polish News Bite. Poland cancels Kanye West concert. A planned concert by rapper Kanye West in Poland has been canceled following widespread criticism over his past anti-Semitic remarks. The performance, scheduled for June at Silesian Stadium in Chorzów, was called off after intervention from Poland's culture ministry and mounting public pressure. The decision aligns with similar action taken in other European countries where several venues have refused to host West's tour. The controversy stems from a series of inflammatory statements made by the artist in recent years, including praise for Nazi ideology and the use of offensive symbols and merchandise. Although West has issued partial apologies, he has also made contradictory statements, prolonging the backlash. Poland joins boycott over Russian participation in sports. Poland has reaffirmed its stance against the inclusion of Russian and Belarusian athletes in international competitions, joining Norway in refusing to host events that allow full national representation for those countries. The move follows a decision by the global governing body for aquatic sports to restore full participation rights, including flags and anthems, to Russian and Belarusian athletes. Poland had previously opposed easing restrictions imposed after Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Officials argue that allowing full representation undermines efforts to hold Russia accountable for its actions in Ukraine. And wrapping up Polish news bites, Poland strengthens defense ties with France. Poland has taken a significant step toward boosting its military capabilities through a new partnership with France. During a high-level meeting in Gdansk, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk and French President Emmanuel Macron announced a joint initiative to develop a military telecommunications satellite. The project will involve major European aerospace firms and is intended to enhance Poland's secure communications infrastructure. The agreements reflect a broader push within the European Union to increase strategic autonomy in defense, particularly amid uncertainty about long-term U.S. security commitments. The satellite will be placed in geostationary orbit and is expected to reduce reliance on foreign systems such as privately operated satellite networks. In addition to the satellite project, both leaders discussed expanding cooperation in areas such as missile defense, long-range strike capabilities, and nuclear deterrence. There's an editorial, The Tale of Two Buffaloes. Drive through the streets of the East Side, West Side, and Riverside in Buffalo. Then drive through the Delaware District, Elmwood Village, and North Buffalo. What you will see is two strikingly different landscapes in one city. That disconnect isn't just in the housing and condition of the neighborhoods. It goes much deeper. At a time when many Buffalo residents are already feeling the strain of rising costs, Mayor Sean Ryan's recent proposal to increase taxes while simultaneously boosting salaries for top administrative officials sends a troubling message about priorities at City Hall. Leadership is not just about balancing budgets. It's about understanding the everyday realities of the people you serve, all the people you serve. Right now, that connection appears to be fraying. For working families across Buffalo, inflation has not been an abstract concept. It shows up in grocery bills, rent increases, and utility costs that creep higher each month. Against this backdrop, the idea of asking residents to contribute more in taxes is already a difficult sell. But pairing that proposal with added administrators and raises for high-ranking officials and a newly appointed police chief adds a layer of frustration that cannot be ignored. The issue is not whether public servants deserve fair compensation. Of course they do. The problem is timing and optics compounded by a perceived lack of shared sacrifice. When residents are being asked to tighten their belts, they expect leadership to demonstrate the same restraint. Instead, this proposal suggests the disconnect between City Hall and the people footing the bill. The city has a poverty rate around 30%. Disposable income is not something that is readily available during times of high inflation and poor private sector job growth. A new mayor with a new vision for the city should have taken a different path to balancing the budget, including delaying salary increases, conducting a deeper audit of city spending, not adding deputy mayors to the payroll, and seeking efficiencies before turning to taxpayers. Even a phased approach could have signaled that the administration understands the burden being placed on residents, rather than being out of touch with Buffalonians. We have a correction. In the April 16th edition, the caption with the photo of Polish Saturday school students and teachers with Pablo Sanz Viegas, classical guitarist, indicated that Polish conductor Anna Sukowska-Migan was in that photo. She was not. There is a new photo, and she is now pictured in the center with a group from Polish Saturday School. So apparently, right caption, wrong picture, or wrong picture, right caption, however you'd like to look at it. It's all fixed. Let's take our first break. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. I'm going to jump to Polonia's calendar. We have Sunday, May 3rd, Bieszczada Banquet and Polish Constitution Day celebration. It's a fun roast and toast banquet honoring Andy Gołębiowski at the Tewksbury Lodge Waterfront Banquet Hall at Buffalo Riverfest Park, 249 Ohio Street in Buffalo, New York. Starts at 4 p.m. There's a dinner buffet, a cash bar. Polish Arts Club members are $65. Non-members are $70. For information, phone number, call 716-876-8108, extension 133. I'll do it again, 716-876-8108, extension 133. Also on Sunday, May 3rd, the Polish Genealogy and Polonia Fair, St. Stanislaus Monsignor Adamski Social Center, 397 Peckham Street in Buffalo, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Free admission. At 1 p.m., Historic Polish People, Places, and Events with author and historian Rick Falkowski. Sunday, May 17th, classical music concert featuring Dominika Zamata, a Polish operatic soprano trained in Italy, and the Polish Singers Alliance of America Combined Chorus. That will be at St. Stanislaus Church, 389 Peckham Street in Buffalo, New York, at 1:30 in the afternoon. Free will offering. At noon, there's a Mass in Polish with music by the Chopin Singing Society. So you can do Mass and then stay for the concert. Sunday, May 17th, Lourdes Virtual Pilgrimage Experience at St. Adalbert's Basilica, 212 Stanislaus Street in Buffalo, New York, 1:30 p.m. Receive the Lourdes water, touch the grotto stone, adoration, benediction, and candle procession to the Basilica Grotto. A plenary indulgence is granted by papal decree and Vatican recognized. Sunday, June 7th, Sgraffito and Sonata, featuring talented young people with Aria Nektos and Alicia Govindar, ages 15 and 14, pianist and violinist Roman Hermach, pianist, age 14. Charles Radomski, winner of the 2025 Polish Arts Club Scholarship, and more. That's at Assumption Church, 435 Amherst Street in Buffalo, New York, at 2:30 in the afternoon, free will offering. Sunday, June 7th, Kalina Singing Society, a luncheon celebrating its 125th anniversary. It's at the Creekside Banquet Hall on Union Road. That's Union Road at William. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Tickets are $70. Phone number. For tickets, call Caroline Norberg, 716-867-3161. Again, 716-867-3161. The trumpet call is explained. There is a small black and white photograph of a city square, and I'm guessing it's in Poland. Let's see what this has to say. The newest episode of the Polish-American radio program opens with the famous trumpet call of Kraków. The Hejnał, as it's called in Polish, is played from high up in the tower of St. Mary's Church in the Market Square. and that's the picture. The melody is cut short every time it is played. The story of why the melody of the Hey Now is cut short every time it is played is explained during the program. The episode also includes other bits of Polish history and a variety of Polish musical styles. The episode can be heard anytime at polishprogram.com. Program host Andy Gołębiowski is organizing a bus trip to Toronto to see the world-famous Mazowsze Ensemble on Wednesday, April 29th, as well as 2 tours to Poland this year. For more information about the bus trip and the tours of Poland, email andy@polishprogram.com or call phone number 716-510-7562. Again, 716-510-7562. Pulaski Association to honor 11. The General Pulaski Association will recognize 11 people at its unsung Heroes of Polonia banquet on Friday, April 24th at Clocks Grove in West Seneca. The 2026 honorees are Marcia Bruch, Jasmine Chen, Lucy Ederer, Chris Hawley, Orest Iskalo, Thomas Kiliansky, Christopher and Julie Kramer, Dennis Mavromatis, Mariola Neviadomsky, and Maritza Vega. This Week in the History of Buffalo's Polonia by Carl L. Buckeye. The following is a list of events that occurred during the week of April 23rd to April 29th. April 25th, 1897. Bishop Quigley presides at a high mass at St. Adelbert Church in recognition of the 900th anniversary of the martyrdom of the parish's patron. On his journey to the church, the bishop was accompanied by 2,500 men marching in the uniforms of various Polish organizations. April 26th, 1898. At Fillmore Hall on Buffalo's east side, Poles respond enthusiastically to a call for volunteers to serve in the Spanish-American War. Dr. Francis E. Franchak delivers the principal address in support of the war effort. April 25th, 1904. Incorporation of St. Barbara's Church, which was established to serve the growing population of Poles in what would become the city of Lackawanna. April 27th, 1914. Dr. Francis E. Franchak, the Buffalo Health Commissioner, initiates a spring cleanup campaign. With assistance from 17,000 volunteers, the campaign aimed to create a healthier environment for the benefit of city residents. April 28, 1916, while serving as temporary administrator for the Diocese of Buffalo, Father Nelson Baker announces a special campaign to raise funds for relief for Polish victims of World War I. And April 24th, 1925, the Chopin Singing Society performs an hour-long concert on WGR radio. There is a photograph of the lovely Christine Baranski. Baranski to take the London stage in Noel Coward comedy. Cheektowaga native Christine Baranski will make her West End debut as the iconic Judith Bliss in a stinging new production of Noel Coward's irresistible comedy, Hay Fever, at Wyndham's Theatre in London. The Emmy, two-time Tony, Screen Actors Guild and Drama Desk winner Baranski will spar with Academy Award-nominated stage and screen legend Richard E. Grant in the comedy directed by Emily Burns from September 22nd to December 12th, 2026. Last year, Judith retired from her life on stage. Already she misses the applause. Idling away at their country home, the rest of the family, reclusive novelist husband David, and failure to launch children, Sorrel and Simon, are too self-involved to be a good audience. So Judith invites a young fan as her guest for the weekend. But unbeknownst to her, each of the Blisses have a guest of their own arriving at the very same time. Completely unsuited to hosting and allergic to compromise, the house quickly erupts into a chaos of parlor games, put-downs, and unrequested encores. Baranski said, quote, "I attended my first West End play as a student at Juilliard in 1971, so it's rather a dream come true to perform at Wyndham's Theatre in a Noel Coward play in the West End. I look forward to a life in London, a city I absolutely adore. I last performed on stage 20 years ago. And coincidentally, Richard E. Grant last performed in the West End 20 years ago. Richard is so gifted, whip-smart, and wickedly funny. I look forward to, quote, tearing a passion to tatters, end quote, with him alongside our brilliant director, Emily Burns. Hay Fever is a 101-year-old comedy of appalling manners. It requires quicksilver delivery and suave flamboyance. I hope it will be a delicious treat for audiences to spend time with this blissful bohemian family," end quote. Grant said, quote, 25 years ago, I guest starred for a night in the play What I Wrote at the beautiful Wyndham Theatre. I am delighted to return to the Wyndham stage, and maybe to a bigger dressing room, alongside the sensational Christine Baranski in Noel Coward's delicious comedy Hay Fever, which premiered in the West End 101 years ago. But who's counting? I love the theater, and I am thrilled to return to it and to be directed by the illustrious Emily Burns. Okay, let's see. We've got our corrections taken care of. There's some photographs here. Boy Scout Troop 107 Buffalo held an all-you-can-eat pancake and sausage breakfast on Sunday, April 19th, 2026, in the St. Stanislaus Social Center in Buffalo. While attendees feasted on the breakfast food, they were able to play on over 60 raffle baskets and prizes. Funds raised will offset the cost of summer camp for the troop. Troop 107 is the oldest continuously chartered troop in Western New York, established in 1925 at St. John Canty Church. Another photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a sign. I can't tell if it's an awning, but it says Amity Club. The caption reads, Friendship Foundation recently checked out the changes on the second floor at Amity Club, 340 Military Road in Buffalo. The Friendship Foundation Amity Club board toured the new $30,000 second floor restoration for males in transition recovering from mental health challenges, addiction, and alcoholism. From left to right are Friendship Foundation President Brian D. Rusk, Vice President James McGuire, Secretary Claudia Foskett, Board Member Yola Simon, Client Scott Voroniecki, Client Jamel Barnes, Executive Director James Lowe, Client Ron Thomas, Past Treasurer Carl M. Balmus, and Board Member Dennis Hoban. Kneeling in front is Client Ron Thomas. Missing from the photo is Vice President Stan Coleman. Let's take our next break. You are listening to a series of articles and features from the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Let's go to Tom Tadapachki and his Polonia press box. We've got photographs of football but not Buffalo Bills, and Buffalo Sabres. Let's see. The Sabres photo is by Lisa Gansky from New York City, and it's number 17, not related to Josh Allen 17. And the caption reads, David Legwand, pictured in April 2016 as a Buffalo Sabre, will also be inducted. Now, that connects us to the photograph above David Legwand, and it is a photo of the Buffalo Bills Mafia arch nemesis Rob Gronkowski. And the title reads, Gronkowski heads 2026 Hall of Fame class. Western New York native Rob Gronkowski is among the class of 2026 due to be inducted into the National Polish American Sports Hall of Fame this June. Gronkowski, a four-time Super Bowl winning tight end, heads the list of new inductees that also includes hockey great David Legwand, outstanding Green Bay Packer offensive tackle Brian Bulaga, and the late UCLA basketball All-American Dave Myers. Passed over by the hometown Buffalo Bills in the 2010 NFL Draft, Gronkowski was selected by New England with a second-round pick. He went on to enjoy 9 outstanding seasons with the Bills' divisional rival. One of quarterback Tom Brady's main targets, he helped the Patriots to 3 Super Bowl titles. A devastating blocker as well as receiver, he earned 5 Pro Bowl selections and was named a first-team All-Pro 4 times. Gronk initially retired after the 2018 season, but made a comeback in 2020 to join Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he won a 4th Super Bowl ring. Gronkowski owns numerous Patriots franchise records, including total receiving touchdowns, 79, and also set several NFL records, holding the distinction of being the first tight end to lead the league in receiving touchdowns. That was in 2011. And the first tight end with 1,000-plus career postseason receiving yards. David Legwand played his 16th season with the Buffalo Sabres, ending his NHL career in 2016 with 228 goals and 390 assists. In 1998, the Detroit native was the 2nd overall pick, the first player ever drafted by the Nashville Predators. The 6'2", 270-pound center played his first 12 seasons in the National Hockey League with the Predators and the final 4 seasons with the Predators, Red Wings, Senators, and then Sabres. Known for his quiet leadership, Legwand left his mark in Nashville with numerous records as the franchise leader in goals, 210, assists, 356, points, 566, game-winning goals, 41, and games played, 956. In his sophomore season in 2000, he scored the first overtime penalty shot goal in National Hockey League history. A durable and dependable two-way player, he helped his teams reach the postseason in 9 of his 16 seasons. In 2022, he was inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. Brian Bulaga was the first-round pick of the Green Bay Packers in the 2010 NFL Draft. The University of Iowa offensive lineman earned numerous awards in college, including All-America and Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year honors in 2019 2009. In his first season in the NFL, he started every game and was named to the All-Rookie team. At 21 years, 322 days, Bulaga became the youngest player to start in a Super Bowl. Bulaga and the Packers defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers by a score of 31-25. He went on to a stellar 11-year NFL career, including 10 seasons in Green Bay, establishing himself as a solid fixture at tackle and helping the Packers win 6 division titles. Bulaga finished his career in 2021 with the Los Angeles Chargers. Always proud of his Polish heritage, he has one small Polish word tattooed on each arm. Siła, meaning strength, and Picha, meaning pride. Dave Myers was one of the best players in the long and illustrious history of UCLA basketball. He played for the Bruins from 1972 to 75, where he led the Bruins to 2 NCAA championships. That included a remarkable, perfect 30-0 season in 1972-73. In 1974-75, the final year of Coach John Wooden's legendary career, Myers led UCLA to their 10th NCAA title. He was named a consensus first-team All-American in 1975 after averaging 18.3 points and 7.9 rebounds per game, with 24 points and 11 rebounds in the championship game. The second overall pick in the 1975 draft by the Los Angeles Lakers, Myers played 5 seasons in the NBA, averaging 11.2 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per game. In 2024, he was posthumously inducted into the College Basketball Hall of Fame. The 53rd annual induction banquet will be held on Thursday, June 18th, 2026, at the American Polish Cultural Center in Troy, Michigan. Tickets for the banquet, which begins at 5 p.m., are $175. Phone number. They can be ordered by calling Mike Ubloy at 248-217-4040. Again, 248-217-4040. Information on the National Polish American Sports Hall of Fame is available at www.polishsportshof.com. www.polishsportshof.com. Lots of activities going on here. Dr. Witakovsky to direct free spring concert. The Cheektowaga Community Symphony Orchestra, led by its music director, Dr. Thomas Witakovsky, is giving a free concert Sunday, April 26th at 3 p.m. at St. Andrew Church, 34 Francis Avenue in Sloan. The title of the concert is Spring Sun Smiles, featuring clarinetist Jonathan Johnson playing Mozart's Clarinet Concerto. The orchestra will also be performing Dvorak's Symphony No. 8 and Haydn's Overture to La Fedeltà Premiata. We have Mary's Day at Our Lady of Fatima Shrine, Sunday, May 3rd, 2026. At 3 p.m., there is a rosary procession, rosary and crowning of procession statue of Mary, benediction with the Blessed Sacrament. At 6:30 in the evening is a healing mass. This is at the Fatima Shrine, 1023 Swan Road in Lewiston, New York. We have, let's see, we talked about this one. The Polish Genealogy and Polonia Fair, also Sunday, May 3rd, 2026, from 11 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon at St. Stanislaus Adamski Social Center, 397 Peckham Street in Buffalo. So while you're there, it's free to get in and all are welcome. You can get a surname lookup. You can get free genealogy research assistance. There are family history displays, Polonia vendors, and cultural exhibits. Okay, moving right along here. This is a short issue. Okay, let's do a sleep-deprived brain works like an inefficient airport, a new study finds. This article is by Ewelina Krajcinska-Wujec. Sleep disorders disrupt the rapid and efficient flow of information in the brain, making it function more like an inefficient airport system, according to a Polish-French study published in the journal Sleep. Researchers found that a single night of total sleep deprivation and several days of chronic sleep restriction produced distinct patterns of brain reorganization rather than a single uniform sleep-deprived state. Adequate sleep is essential for maintaining cognitive abilities, including learning, emotional stability, and mental health, and is also crucial for regulating biochemical, metabolic, and immunological processes. This is your reader. You want to raise your immune system? Make sure you get a good night's sleep every night. Back to the article. Although the brain remains active during sleep, the study shows that different forms of sleep loss significantly alter its functional architecture. The research was conducted by an international team from the University of Warsaw, the Jagiellonian University, the Netsky Institute of Experimental Biology of the Polish Academy of Sciences, the Université Grenoble-Alpes, the National Institute for Research in Digital Science and Technology, and the University Hospital in Toulouse. The study used functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, to analyze brain function in 28 healthy participants under 3 conditions: after normal restorative sleep, after 1 night of total sleep deprivation, approximately 26 hours without sleep, and after 5 nights of chronic sleep restriction, approximately 5 hours per night. Each condition represented a different type of physiological stress, acute and intense versus chronic and cumulative. The study was longitudinal, meaning the same participants were scanned in all 3 states, allowing researchers to observe individual changes in brain function. To capture subtle changes in brain activity, researchers modeled the brain as a complex network and applied graph theory and machine learning techniques. This approach enabled analysis of both local disruptions and the global organization of brain connectivity. In a rested state, the brain's functional network is highly organized and contains so-called hubs, regions that act as central nodes, integrating information from different parts of the brain. These hubs function like large airport transfer points, enabling rapid and efficient information flow across the system. The study found that both forms of sleep deprivation lead to reorganization of brain network topology, but in distinct and systematically different ways. Quote, "Until now, sleep deprivation has often been compared to a depleted battery. The less we sleep, the more tired and discharged we become. It seemed, therefore, that a sleepless night and several days of sleep deprivation were the same phenomenon, just with different intensity. Our research, however, shows something completely different. These are 2 distinct states that affect the brain in different ways," said Patricia Szyszlewska from the University of Warsaw. A single night of total sleep deprivation triggered rapid changes, primarily affecting the brain's resting state network, a system involved in self-reflection, mind wandering, and emotional processing. In this condition, key hubs lost their dominant coordinating role, reducing their ability to integrate information flow, while other regions increased connectivity and partially compensated for this loss of function. Quote, "What we observed appears to be a compensatory mechanism. Some brain regions lose connections, while others gain them. It seems, therefore, that the brain is trying to remedy the situation by reorganizing its structure," Szyszlewska said. In contrast, chronic sleep restriction led to slower, more diffuse, and widespread reorganization across multiple brain systems. These changes were less abrupt, but affected a broader range of regions, including those responsible for emotional regulation, decision-making, and behavioral control. The cerebellum, a structure primarily associated with movement coordination and behavioral automation, was also found to play a greater role under chronic sleep restriction. Quote, "Our study suggests that under conditions of chronic sleep deprivation, the cerebellum's importance in the brain network increases, which may indicate a greater importance of behavioral automation. This seems consistent with our intuition. After several nights of poor sleep, we often feel like we're operating on autopilot," said Alexandra Domagalik-Pitner, PhD, head of the Magnetic Resonance Imaging Laboratory at the Jagiellonian University Brain Research Center. Unlike acute deprivation, where changes appear rapid and targeted, chronic sleep restriction does not lead to a sudden breakdown, but to gradual adaptation, though at the cost of reduced efficiency and stability. Researchers compared this to a computer that slows down but continues operating. In both conditions, the central disruption involves the brain's network topology, the balance between specialized processing and integrated communication. In a healthy brain, different regions perform specialized functions while remaining efficiently connected. Sleep deprivation disrupts this balance, making the network more random and less efficient in information transfer. To confirm these distinctions, researchers use machine learning methods to classify brain states based on connectivity patterns. The algorithms successfully distinguish between total sleep deprivation and chronic sleep deprivation and chronic sleep restriction, confirming that these are separate neurobiological states rather than different degrees of the same condition. The study also found individual variations in susceptibility. Participants with stronger circadian rhythms were more resilient to sleep loss, while so-called night owls showed greater differences between acute and chronic sleep deprivation. Researchers added that recovery patterns also differ. A single sleepless night can typically be mitigated with 1 or 2 nights of recovery sleep, whereas chronic sleep restriction may require many days of stable and sustained rest. They also noted that while acute sleep deprivation produces immediate awareness of impairment, chronic sleep loss can lead to psychological adaptation in which individuals underestimate their own reduced performance. Sleep is so important. Let's take our last break. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. We have a photograph of a dog in a park-like setting. The photo is by Marcin Bielecki, and it's from PAP, or Science in Poland. There is perhaps the dog's owner or trainer also in the photograph. This article is by Tomasz Maciejewski. Alert dogs helping diabetics detect blood sugar drops. Dogs trained to assist people with diabetes can detect dangerous changes in blood sugar levels faster than modern monitoring devices, according to behaviorist Małgorzata Sulik, who is working with the West Pomeranian University of Technology in Szczecin. Sulik says dogs' sense of smell allows them to identify biochemical changes in the human body linked to both hypoglycemia and hyperglycemia, often before devices register them. Quote, dogs sense biochemical changes in the human body, including energy deficiencies, which are very obvious in hypoglycemia, but also occur in hyperglycemia. Dogs have such sensitive noses that they react faster than any measuring device, Sulik said. She added that even compared to continuous glucose monitoring systems, trained dogs may respond earlier. Quote, they are very sensitive and attentive. This allows them to save the life of someone suffering from a severe hypoglycemia, for example, she said. During training, dogs learn to detect specific scent markers associated with changes in blood sugar and signal their owner. The primary alert involves gently touching the person with their nose. Quote, when the dog's signal is ignored, the dog will begin to use less gentle methods, such as jumping on laps or licking the face, Sulik said. Known as diab dogs, the animals are also trained to assist during emergencies by retrieving medical supplies such as glucose meters, medication, or sugary food. Quote, with hypoglycemia, your brain works, but you cannot move, for example, get out of a bed or a chair, Sulik explained. They are also trained to respond when a person is asleep or unconscious. If initial attempts to wake the owner fail, the dog can activate an alarm system by pressing a touchscreen device that alerts relatives via smartphone or smartwatch and may also trigger an emergency call. Sulik cited cases in which dogs prevented their owners from continuing activities or leaving a room, signaling a deterioration in health. Quote, dogs are very creative and find ways to signal danger, she said. She continued, dogs very clearly sense a threat to life and become nervous because their guardian, a member of the pack, is in danger, end quote. The mechanism is likely linked to dogs detecting volatile organic compounds produced during metabolic changes associated with low blood sugar, she added. Sulik, who trained in animal husbandry, animal psychology, and at ETH Zurich, began collaborating on diabetic alert dog training after being invited by physician and diabetologist Jolanta Vitek-Pakulo. Such programs have been in place in countries, including Germany, for more than a decade. Demonstrations of the training were held in Szczecin, where dogs practice scent detection, retrieving medical kits, and activating alarm systems. According to Sulik, a wide range of breeds can be trained as diabetic alert dogs, although factors such as size, temperament, and trainability are important. Quote, it is also important that the dog is not too small, as it will have trouble getting through. It can be easily pushed away and will not wake you up at night. A diab dog must signal effectively, she said. Well, this is your reader. I guess that means that my long-haired Chihuahua Fred will not stand a chance at being a diab dog. I don't know how I'm going to break that news to him. He's going to take it hard. I just know he is. Okay, short issue today. Let's see what else I can find here. Basha's Corner. Klemetsky fights Bolsheviks, becomes general, dies with Sikorsky. There is a photograph of General Klemetsky. It's a reproduction from the Polish government site, and the photo is dated early 20th century. The first thing that jumps out at me about this photograph is the beautiful, and I'm going to assume they're Polish blue eyes, but they are just beautiful, beautiful eyes. Tadeusz Klemetsky was born in Tarnów, Galicia, Austria-Hungary, on November 23, 1895. He graduated from the gymnasium in Jasło and enrolled in the Faculty of Law of the Jagiellonian University. In 1914, I joined the Eastern Legions, and at its dissolution, I was drafted into the Austrian Army. After graduating from the School of Infantry Officers, I was sent to the Italian front as a platoon leader. I was appointed a standard bearer, and in 1916 became a second lieutenant. By the end of World War I, I had been wounded 3 times and served as a company commander. This goes on. He served as Chief of General Staff of the Supreme Commander in London from July 1940 to July 1943. Unfortunately, he died on July 4th, 1943, in a plane crash in Gibraltar, together with the Polish Prime Minister and Commander-in-Chief, General Władysław Sikorsky, and his staff. Another Polish patriot. That's going to wrap it up for today. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the April 23rd, 2026 issue of the Am-Pol Eagle. We read from the Am-Pol Eagle every Saturday at 3 p.m. Your reader has been Joanne Janicki. Thank you for listening. Do widzenia.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Grand Island Niagara County Tribune Sentinel. At 5 o'clock, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. And at 6 o'clock, we've got the Wall Street Journal Off Duty. Stay tuned for these readings and more. If you're listening to this publication online, you're probably using our website, a podcast player like Spotify or iTunes, a streaming service like Siro, or a smart speaker. Did you know that we now have a dedicated app that can be downloaded to any mobile device, like a smartphone or tablet, for free? App users can conveniently access our live stream and any episode of our podcast easier than ever. To download the app, just type NFRRS in the search window in the Apple App Store or in the Google Play Store. Contact us anytime if you have any questions by calling 716-821-5555, extension 5. Thank you. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which makes